guys, it's absolutely scorchio. I'm just about to head off to Rochdale. It's Friday night. We're not going directly to Rochdale. I'm making a detour en route, which I'm very, very excited about. So you may know that during the last few years, in order to get my football fix, I've been working for another club. But also, I found an alternative football fix in a club by the name of FC Brickstand, which you may or may not be aware of. It is a Lego football team that were formed in the summer of last year, and they had an amazing first season, winning promotion to the Builders Liga Division 4, where they started this season with mixed results so far. I have a season ticket at FC Brickstand. They play on Sunday night, so that's absolutely fine. I can get to the games. A season ticket to Brickstand costs £5. And what they do when you buy a season ticket, they make a little Lego version of you to go in the stand behind the goal in all of their games. So there's a little Lego version of me at the FC Brickstand games. Tonight I am going to, the physical me, not the Lego me, the physical me is going to Brick Lane, home of FC Brickstand, and I'm going to meet the guy whose brainchild this Lego football team is. I'm going to see the football ground, I'm going to see the players, I'm going to meet Lego me. I'm incredibly excited about this. Yeah, watch this space. I can't wait, I'm really so excited. So here we are at Brick Lane. We've just made a Lego Lee to go in the stand, complete with blue shades. So I hope you like it, Lee. So here we are in the stand at Brick Lane, and if we zoom in here, we can see behind the goal, you will see me and Lee. So this is Chris. FC Brickstand is Chris's brainchild. So Chris, will you tell us how FC Brickstand came about?
Yes, I was messing about with some pictures of it was groundskeeper Willie, the groundkeeper off The Simpsons, and he was like, that was it. It was the Beast from the East in 2018, about March, and then I just did a little kind of picture of him clearing some snow off the pitch, and then some other characters like Bart and Milhouse like helping him the day after, like, and Martin coming to play football. And then it was kind of like a more interesting thing than what I'd been doing previously, which was making football stadiums out of Lego. The actual story behind it was more interesting than just a picture of a Lego model. So it was kind of like an extension of that to then create more stories and then have kind of the story of a whole football club and kind of the stories around it and the people and kind of have characters.
So tell me about the building of the model football grounds.
So I set myself a challenge in the beginning of 2014 to build all 92 Football League grounds out of Lego, and then the Scottish ones as well got added, the Scottish Premiership. So that's still ongoing. I suppose I got bored, really, is the truth. So I'm only halfway through, and the motivation kind of went down. But then this is the kind of idea of a football club that is all made out of Lego has kind of re-enthused passion back for it again. So the building of the stadiums will kind of happen when I've got time, which hasn't been too often recently. But still, I'll do it one day. Yeah.
So tell me about the characters. Are they based on real people?
So for the first ever season, I thought it'd be easy if I based the people who played for the football team on people who I'd played football with in real life, or who I knew in real life, because then it was easier for me to create the characters and kind of have traits or like positions of where they played in the field. So for example, like Conor Muldoon is someone who I've worked with recently, and he's like the star striker, and then if he didn't score one week at work on Monday, he'd be like giving me loads of chat saying why haven't I scored or what's going on. And we had a bit of a falling out because he won goal of the month one month, and I said to him, "What do you want?" And he said, "I'd like a Whisper Gold." And then I never bought him the Whisper Gold, and he kept going on about it, and then it became like a bit of an issue that I hadn't bought him the Whisper Gold, and then so he requested a transfer in the January transfer window, and then so in the Lego that was happening, it was like he's been linked with a move, but behind it in kind of real life, he was actually saying he wants to move. So in the end, we had to agree like a new long-term contract, but you should see the WhatsApp message that I got in real life about the list of demands about what he wanted to sign. So it was like buying a pint every Thursday night after school, and a steak and chips dinner for him and his girlfriend at my house, which still hasn't happened yet, and a few other things. So yeah, it was, but then he stayed. So, but then I was sending him messages of all the fans who were getting worried that he might leave, because obviously he was our star player. Yeah, he became a big hit in Germany as well on like a football website over there after he scored an amazing overhead kick last season. So I was kind of telling him, no one's bigger than the club, but he had other ideas. So anyway, we got there in the end.
But he's a star player, isn't he? How many goals did he get last season?
Yeah, he got 36 in all competitions last season. So yeah, I lost count, to be honest. But yeah, he was the star player. But I think he's maybe not going to be quite the star that he thinks he is this season. With the step up after we got promoted to the Builders Liga, I think he might have a more realistic goals tally this season.
So yeah, tell me about the formation of the club and how they got on in their first season.
Yeah, so the club formed at the beginning of last season and entered at the Diorama Conference level, and we were very fortunate to win the league in our first season, which kind of felt like the right thing to happen, given that there was kind of a growing momentum, like the club kind of got a bit of momentum behind it. It wasn't a brilliant start to the season, but then after Christmas, kind of results really picked up. So then we've got promoted into the league now. So it's the Builders Liga, number 4. Well, we've won two of our first 4 games, lost in the cup to Oakwell Raiders, the League Cup, on penalties, and so I think most people would be happy with just staying up or mid-table finish this season.
So here we are at Brick Lane. We have supporters behind the goal here. So tell me about that. How can people get behind the goal?
So all these people exist in real life and have paid £5 for an annual membership, which sees them turned into Lego version of themselves. So people send a picture or just a brief description of what they look like, and then that's matched up to a Lego figure to represent them, and then they watch and enjoy hopefully all home league games and cup games included as well for that. We've got people from all over the world now, really, different countries, America, Germany, Holland, France as well. Then we have these pitch-side advertising boards as well, so these are kind of given to companies who express an interest in the club, just as kind of a thank you, really.
So where can people find FC Brickstand? So
people can follow the club on Twitter is probably the best way, because the matches abroad, there's match updates every Sunday night on Twitter. And
so they play on a Sunday night?
Yeah, so all the league games are on a Sunday night at 7:45 kickoff. And sometimes there's midweek matches as well, which usually happen on a Wednesday. Again, 7:45 kickoff. People can also visit the club's website, which is just fcbrickstand.com. And there's also a podcast as well, which is called Builders Babble. So that's kind of in the early stages. There's a few episodes up so far. So that's kind of like the idea behind that is to maybe give a bit more of a behind the scenes kind of insight into the running of the club or the workings of the club.
So what sort of people do you interview on the podcast?
Well, we spoke to people who kind of either inspired or were directly involved in the club. So kind of like artist Payne Profit, he's like my favourite artist. So I interviewed him because I just wanted to go and meet him, basically. Even though I've met him before, but I wanted to have a proper chat with him. So he was great. So he's like snuck in up here now. And then Jo Kinney, who works at Atherton Collieries FC. So she is the player liaison officer now for FC Brickstand. So
really?
So
is she here?
No, she's not here at the moment.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I had to. She's on business.
Okay.
I think I had to borrow her hair to give to somebody else. So I think she's just been put over there at the moment. And then I did one with my Lego dealer, who is called Neil. So he lives around the corner from here. So he's literally the man behind most of the bricks in Brick Lane, because that's quite interesting as well about where all the bricks come from, because I've become a bit obsessed by podcasts, so I thought it fit quite well really to have one about this as well.
So do you have any celebrity fans?
I'm not sure really we do. They're not maybe that famous. We've got Stuart, who is the owner of Lewis FC. Where is he? Oh yeah, there. That's Stuart Fuller. These guys are really cool guys from LA, and they came over to like visit Brick Lane, so that was quite exciting. So they're in there as well.
Have they been here?
Yeah, they've been here. Yeah. So then they did a really nice article on it. We had some interesting pre-season friendlies this year because we started playing against human teams. So we had, of course, Chasetown, and then we played the Asbury Park one was maybe the biggest one, or like the biggest club we've played so far, because they're based out in, I think it's New Jersey. It's just a bit south of New York.
Wow, really?
But then, so their record is that they've never lost a game. The guy behind that used to work for the MLS, Sean. So yeah.
Well, that's a hell of a trip, isn't it, for Brickstand?
Well, they came here.
Oh, they came
here.
here.
Yeah, they came here. But there was only two away fans from America came over, so that was pretty impressive. Yeah, so that was kind of maybe the biggest club we've played so far. But we also played Original Wanderers, so they're the team that won the first ever FA Cup in 1895. So they went on to win the FA Cup 5 more times. So we played them in pre-season, and we played Prague Raptors, who've just got promoted to the Czech 8th division. So that was good.
So how did that come about?
The FC Brickstand approached them to say, do you fancy a pre-season friendly? And some of them said yes straight away, and some of them took a bit of persuading. But then they were very pleased in the end. Some of them needed it explaining a bit further as to how it could happen. And some didn't. So, but that's the thing, like, I think there was this has started happening now, which has pleased me, like, because it's the idea is there's no hands seen on any of the Twitter feed or anything that goes out to do with the club. It's all kind of self-enclosed. So a couple of people have started messaging or like other football clubs as if to say, what is this? Like, we don't really get it. Like, what's going on here? Like, and that's pleasing because people are a bit confused. So that's pleasing to me because that's the kind of idea behind it, that it's as realistic as it can be.
When I arranged the pre-season friendly with Chasetown, I was dreading having to explain it to the the elderly people on the committee, thinking there's no way they're going to understand this. And someone said, well, try and explain it like it's Sabutio, and maybe that'll help them understand it. And, so I just came out with it, and they're like, go ahead.
But I think it helps at the moment that people realise that that's a lot of football clubs are looking for different content to put out, aren't they? And like, as it's a creative, I suppose, thing, or I think, and because it's Lego, I think it is quite an easy sell really to do something like that, because it is fun and it's very non-offensive and it's suitable for children, and there's a bit of something for everyone really, because the idea is it is suitable for children, like everything that goes out on the Twitter account and social media, but also there's bits of humour in there which are still appropriate for children, but which, do you know what I mean, which they might not get, but it's to do with going to football and what is interesting about football and why people go to football. So it's that's the kind of idea behind it, because people are like, someone sent me a message the other day saying it brings me a little bit of joy, like, so that's the kind of idea really, like if that's happening then that's good, like that's the idea really. It is, because modern football can be so rubbish and you can get very little out of it. This, like, even if the results aren't good, you would think there would still be interesting things happening, around it. So it would still be interesting.
What I think's great is it does offer the joy and the light relief, because there's so many horrible stories in football at the moment. It's a way of obtaining joy from football, but without feeling disloyal to your club and having another club because it's not real.
That's it. Yeah, like sometimes think like, I suppose for the aim, like, because there is kind of genuine like aims to kind of attract more fans and have more fans, because I think if we had more fans there would be things that we could do with the club. So like I could go out and start laying on sessions for like underprivileged children or in the local area for them to play with Lego, and that could be funded by the people that pay £5 a year. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't take too many people to become involved to make something like that possible, or we could lay on like free Lego sessions on a Saturday morning for, you know, like autistic children, because that's my kind of background as well. My skills are in that kind of thing. So there's kind of genuine things that could happen from this as well. If it seems like I'm taking it quite seriously, then that's why, if you see what I mean. It's not just playing, if you see what I mean, although that is the kind of thing.
So Chris, will you show us around the studio and show us how you do things?
These are the drawers with all the bricks in. So one tip that somebody gave me kind of when I first started out was to not have the same coloured bricks together. So like, if you, instead of having all the same colour bricks and different sizes together, don't do that. Have the same size brick but different colours and have them all together. So it just makes it a lot easier to find. Don't know if you want to get a close-up of that. You can just kind of see what you're looking for a lot easier. Because if it was all grey, you'd be like,
that's
for a while.
A clever idea.
Yeah, it's quite well organised really. Because at the beginning I was spending so much time looking for pieces. If I'm making a stadium, it's all just it takes ages because I'm just making it up as I go along. So like sometimes I don't know I need a bit until I know I need it, if you see what I mean. And then I haven't got it, and then sometimes you have to order it, and then sometimes that can take a week to come. So yeah, sometimes it's really difficult to say how long a stadium takes, because sometimes it can take months and sometimes it could take a day. It just depends. Like,
so you get everything through your Lego dealer?
Yeah, I tried to, because the first couple of years I was doing commissions for people, so I was making the stadiums and then they were buying them off me.
Is that something that you'd still offer if somebody wanted to?
Not really, but I've got a bit of an interest in doing kind of Northern Premier League grounds recently, so if someone wanted like a really tiny ground that wasn't many bricks, then potentially, but other than that, no, because I just found that it was taking too much time and energy to replace the bricks that I was giving away in the stadium, that in fact it was kind of like that was having an effect on my motivation to do it really. The challenge is to kind of build them all. I'm about halfway through.
Halfway through the Northern Premier League?
No, halfway through like all 92.
Oh gosh, right.
Yeah. Quite like doing old grounds that don't exist anymore, because that feels like there's a point to do that. So like the old Bloomfield Road, for example, that kind of brings something that feels like a really nice memory, like Highbury, and then like Upton Park I've done that doesn't exist anymore. I did the Victoria Ground in Stoke for somebody, that was really good. And that's a real challenge, because it spends like hours, and I spend like hours and hours and hours looking at old pictures, trying to think how to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like how it looked. I've developed this like Wembley Twin Towers model, because I'm hopefully going to be moving to a new studio soon, which is a lot bigger. So one of the ideas I had was if I can develop little models like this, that people could come and spend like an afternoon with me to like make one for themselves and then take it away. This is kind of the FC Brickstand stuff, so this is all different minifigure heads. So I've spent like a bit of time researching what kind of faces you can get and what kind of hair you can get, because Lego only produce things for their sets, so they don't just produce faces for the sake of it. So everything.
So these are based on actual characters?
Yeah, so they're all kind of out of a certain set, if you see what I mean. So what the Lego dealer does is he or she buys a set, like a castle, and then doesn't build it, separates it out into piles and sells it to people.
Okay.
So that's kind of where all the bricks come from. But then people maybe don't realise how limited you are on certain faces or hairs, or because a lot of the Lego figures are like characters. Some of them are like painters and he's got like paint all over his head, but of course that's no good to me. Or like a Star Wars or a Spider-Man, like none of those things are any good to me. So the actual choice of what you might call normal, human heads and things it's a bit limited really.
So Spider-Man features in Brick Lane as well, you mentioned.
Yeah, so this net is a piece of Lego, and that's out of a Spider-Man set. So I suppose that would have been one of his webs. So it might have been like actually designing the kind of goals was kind of one of the things that took a lot of the time really, because I wanted to use a real. So this is a piece of Lego. So I wanted to keep it. I didn't want to like just buy a piece of netting and then cut it out and make it fit. I wanted it to be an actual piece of Lego. And we've got this kind of latticing up here, which is like a throwback to the old Archibald Leach kind of lattice that you see at a lot of football grounds, like Goodison Park and Ibrox, the way it kind of all goes along.
So who's the manager? That's the manager down there?
Yeah, that's the manager. So that's Felix Schmidt and the assistant manager, Helena Martin. So we actually ran poll online at the very beginning of the club for people to choose who they wanted to be a manager. So there was 3 kind of options presented with different kind of managerial philosophies and favourite formations. And Helena Martin came second, so she was then persuaded to stay on as an assistant manager. So that was good. Then we got the McClellan Clothing is the people that have put us in touch with Area for the home kit. So we have a human fit home kit which is available in the club shop.
So this is the main entrance?
This is the main entrance, yeah, around here. The famous Brick Lane writing outside.
That's superb, I really like that. Really iconic.
Or one other idea is that kind of if there was enough space, people could kind of come and add to this themselves. So like, you know, people could build up kind of the world around it or the kind of the city around it. So then it become a bit more of a collaborative, you know, a bit more of a team effort really, rather than it just being me that does all the building, because that's kind of one of the things about it really. You know, it'd be nice because there's another guy that's got involved who does all the fixtures and league tables and things for FC Brickstand, so that could happen in kind of with the building as well. Like it would be good to get, because there's always going to be someone who creates something that you wouldn't have thought of yourself.
Because there's a local pub, isn't there, on the corner of the ground? Does that really
yes,
exist?
so that exists. So the Bricklayers Arms is the pub that's outside where we are now, so it's just kind of by coincidence. But then someone could come and build that, for example, like you say, like on, you know, on the corner of the ground, and yeah, that would kind of enhance, you know, that would kind of enhance it really.
So how do you make the characters?
Like you mean the fans in the
figures?
So the supporters, so that, well, there's 2 on. The players were done like on a laser printed from a company where you can get them to print it directly onto the Lego with like a laser printing function. The supporters are done with like plain Lego kind of torsos, and then the home shirt on a sticker and like cut out and stuck over the top, so it's almost like someone putting on like a, you know, a shirt. So because the players are about £12 each, so you couldn't do that for like a whole crowd because it would quickly get you know, too costly. But then like people request things like hats and caps and things, so people kind of, some people go to football dressed all in black, so they're represented in the crowd as well, so people can choose what they want to wear really.